he was ready for the kill. And Yara was like, you need to just chill out.
No, he's like, no, yeah, for sure. And Jaro was like, I mean, we could just take it. No, man, I mean, if he does something, if he bucks, I'm going to buck back. Today, we are back to discuss the ending of Jojos Bizarre Adventure Part 7, Steel Ball Run, which means that today, my name is Josh Michaels, and I am joined by
Mehgan Blue Ball Perrine.
Okay.
It's like a take on balls and also just like the color blue.
I love it. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Volume 1's Bizarre Adventure. Today we are covering, like I said, the end of Steel Ball Run, which is chapters 63 through 95. But before we get into that, we have to shout out and we have to thank the people who donated to make these cosplays possible. So shout out Don Esparza, Gabriel Cepeda, Anthony Huerta, and David Ramirez. These cosplay would not be possible without your help, your support. So thank you so much from the bottom of both of our hearts. As you can see, I'm wearing the cosplay version of the gyro hat. I actually made one out of foam, but it doesn't fit. It's a little small. And
you gotta get those measurements right.
Yeah, I could have stood to measure it again.
Measure it with the wig too.
Yeah, see, I didn't take that into consideration. But I'll be sporting this hat. It still looks good because when I wear the other foam hat, it does this to my head. And it hurts a lot.
Like it's potentially going to bruise you.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever heal. I might have a permanent mark on my forehead now.
Shape of an L?
Oh, yeah. In the shape of an L on my forehead. So, today, we are going to be discussing the end of Steel Ball Run. We finally finished our run through of this part. And I have to say, without a doubt, you know how we've been feeling if you've been watching all of our previous parts. But I already was loving what I was reading. And now for me personally, I can confidently say this is absolutely, without a doubt, my favorite part of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure from beginning to end for so many reasons. To me, this has everything. Everything I've ever wanted in a JoJo part. It focused so much more on characters, and the stands complemented the characters. In this part specifically, we get to learn more about Funny Valentine, the president, and his stand ability was absolutely incredible. It was executed so well. The concept itself, oh my God. Araki was flexing not only in his writing, but in his art. Jesus, it's so good. Jesus Christ.
Literally.
Yeah, the corpse.
Yeah.
The corpse himself. But Mehgan, before, I go on for too long, how did you feel? General thoughts about the ending and these chapters that we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, I definitely felt just like the overall love from Araki in this part. And I also felt, not for the first time, because there have been characters like in Golden Wind for sure. I kind of felt that too. But the most like, I don't want to say like human characters, but like the most like, that's just a guy. Like Johnny's just like a guy to me. Like he's not like a hero. He's not like a Joestar. Like he is just a dude. Like that's what I love about him so much. And it's not like, oh, like I'm a weak guy. I'm a guy that's not, I don't want to be a hero. No, he just like does what he needs to do.
Yeah.
And tries his best. And if he fails, tries again.
Yeah.
And that's what I really like about him. And Gyro too. Like they both are just dudes like on a mission. That's what I love about every character in this part is everyone has their own motivations. And even Valentine is like one of the more like gray villains because he's like evil, but not necessarily like Poochie level evil.
But that man's evil. I've seen a lot of discourse online about Valentine doing nothing wrong.
I didn't say that. He's playing the game. He's playing the race. And he's trying to get that corpse.
But I really believe, and I wrote this down, that Valentine, as president of the United States,
perfect role.
Yeah, dude, and kind of more poignant now than ever. But I believe Araki is showing us that Valentine is using religion. He's literally weaponizing religion in the guise of patriotism. All right, and
but
he's
he
making
truly
everybody
believes in patriotism. It's not a facade. It's not a fake thing for him. He truly believes it in his heart that he is doing the right thing.
He does, and that's what makes a good
And that's
villain.
what Poochie did too, but Poochie was more so evil. Maybe I'm a Poochie hater, but
yeah, she is.
I am. I am. I'm sorry. But
I mean,
yeah.
I don't love Poochie either, but yeah.
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 Even he's not like Dio. I mean, even Diego. Like I was like,
Shoo!
he got a little gray towards the end. I'm like, are you complaining? Like, are you doing the shit that you were like sad about, like your dad doing, and the guy with your mom? Like, you're turning into that guy. Like you want to fight against that guy, but like you're literally that guy right now.
Honestly, I loved Diego Brando as an antagonist, which is kind of at the end. I know what you're saying, but I just mean in general, dude.
General.
He was so sick, and at the end, I mean, that's what's kind of cool about this part too. You got Diego Brando as an antagonist, but then you have Valentine as a villain. So you kind of got a couple antagonists thrown in there, which I really liked. And
everyone is competition.
And yeah, that's true. But when the Diego Brando from another dimension showed up and busted out the world, though, that was my attempt. It was bad.
That was good.
It was good. Oh, yikes! I'm gonna cut that out.
Oh, I shook my head for audio only.
I think I got it.
You got it?
I think so.
Oh.
But I lost my mind, dude. I felt like a kid. I was so excited. I was like, no way, the world. I was so excited. That was such a hype moment for me. And it gunked me off my asshole, frankly. And as somebody who has mixed feelings about Dio.
As someone who was happy to not have Dio in the story anymore, to have him back and have his stand back, I was like, oh, fucking shit.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask
Damn
you.
it.
Yeah.
I don't know what's to come in the next part, but I hope Dio is not even in
wild
it
for that.
all.
You're wild
Fuck.
for that. This part,
I like Diego.
But I think maybe Araki is. I mean, he's definitely growing. He's evolving, and that shows throughout Steel Ball Run. But even in his characters, the characters in this part feel so well written, so they feel more emotionally complex, a little more gray. I really love all the characters in this part, and this part made me come around even more on. I know this is Diego, not Dio, but the Dio character, because I get how he could feel kind of stale and kind of like an archetype of a villain.
It's not even stale. It's just like, we get a new Joestar, and they're all different, and we get like a slightly different Dio every other time.
That's probably the best way you've explained your distaste.
It's just like, it's like we had this man for so long, then he got wiped out, and then it's like we're gonna get rid of everything, and it's going to be completely different, but a little bit the same, but completely different. But guess who's here? Dio again. I was, come on.
I loved it, dude.
Come on.
I loved it.
I know. I'm just a hater, and you don't get
You're
it. No one gets it.
A hater. You have an opinion.
It's fine. It's fine.
You have an opinion. Everybody has an opinion. You're allowed to voice it. Damn. Anyway, but yeah, even let's go back to Funny Valentine. Funny Valentine as the main villain for this part. We really get to understand his overall goal and his stand ability in these chapters. But what I think is more interesting to talk about first is your point about patriotism. Now, he believes in his heart that what he's doing is right. And that's what makes a great villain. But is his patriotism true patriotism? Because how he became so passionate about what he wanted to do was through his dead father, basically, being tortured, being a national hero. But he actually never had a relationship with him personally. So I feel like his idea of patriotism is a little morally skewed, and we see that when Johnny questions him at the very end about whether or not his intentions are pure, because he ends up having a gun. So I don't know. I don't know if he's truly patriotic or just using that to justify his actions.
Like, the definition of patriotic is like for the good of the country. Like, he's willing to do anything in order to make the country great again.
Yikes. That's dangerous, dude. You know, Funny Valentine would be rocking a MAGA hat if he was alive. If Steel Ball Run took place today, Funny Valentine would be in a MAGA hat, dude.
It's too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, that's not saying that he's good. He's saying that he's willing to do anything, whatever it takes. And that's what we've seen time and time again. He's not this, I'm patriotic, so that means I'm good. That's not what the classifications, I guess, are.
Yeah.
Or definition of like patriotism equals like a good person doing good things. It's like, no, that's not what it means.
It means doing anything for your country at all costs.
At all costs. And that may involve being in a ditch for a while.
Okay.
Do you remember?
That doesn't seem so bad, though.
It was pretty bad for him.
Yeah. For him, it was really bad.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad for him. Yeah. To the point where he's like, okay, never mind.
Yeah, it was eternal.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was infinite.
Uncle.
But before we go on to talk about the chapters in a more beat by beat fashion, I do want to say that now, after completing it, what I really have come to appreciate about this part are the stands, like we've also mentioned in previous parts. But with more confidence now, I can say that what I loved about the inclusion of the stands in this part was that they weren't the focus. Even with Tusk and the other stands that we meet throughout.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They, like I mentioned earlier in this episode, complement the stand user. And as a matter of fact, we don't even really get to see them all that often. It's a treat when they come out. It's exciting when they come out. And I don't even think that Gyro's stand fully manifested Ball Breaker, I believe. Ball Buster.
Ball Buster Breaker.
I don't think it even fully
Clacker Volley.
Clacker Volley. I don't even think it fully manifested until, towards the end of his run. I think that's so,
Don't
and
say
that I was
don't say that.
a wreck, dude.
Don't say that.
Polnareff. Not Polnareff. Sorry, Polnareff reacting to. Iggy's death and Avdal's death.
Yeah, I was
sad, but this is the saddest.
I was sad. I was sad when it happened, for sure. And I was sad for Johnny, but I was also super sad. Like, I I definitely felt more sad. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I'm tripping. I felt sadder.
Go ahead.
When Johnny had his prayer speech towards the end, like those couple panels of him saying how much he was praying for things to happen and seeing them together, I was like,
yeah, and you really realize just how massive the scope of this whole story was, like how much we went through. That's what I loved about those spreads, where it showed every character and bits of specific interactions. I don't know, man. It really did feel like a journey that we all went on together. And back to Johnny specifically, his arc compared to every other Joestar that has ever been the protagonist of a part, he had a whole ass arc. His arc was so well written, well executed. He started off as kind of as somebody who was this prodigy, but lost the ability to do what he was doing, and then kind of became an asshole. Kind of became a little kind of not a scumbag necessarily, but he just became an asshole. Just became rude. But then slowly started to come into his own again. And I don't know, I really appreciated the way he was written and watching him grow more than any other Joestar. Any other Joestar. Personally. I feel like he's definitely up there now as one of my favorites. Although I think that Gyro does not all the time.
So like Gyro over Bruno.
Gyro. No. Gyro over Bruno. Yeah, but Bruno's a close second. But it also feels like
what the
Gyro
I'm just kidding.
is a main like a protagonist.
No, he is.
Like a main character. It almost feels like he
is. It's like Giorno and Bruno. I mean, they are like.
Yeah. And while again, I love Bruno and bringing up the Giorno Bruno dynamic. Like Johnny has way more characterization than Giorno.
Yeah, for sure. But even like, I don't know, like it's funny because I guess when he was like doing what he was doing when he was riding horses and stuff, when he was like the prodigy, he could have had like just like been gifted that charm. People thought he was like charming because he could do all these things, but like he's not really that charming of a guy, which is so funny because like a lot of the Joestars have like their own charm, or like they're able to charm people. Like Johnny doesn't really have that. He's just like very like pure, and like he's kind of like the straight man to Gyro, which is so funny.
Yeah.
And I guess to compare it back to Golden Wind, like that's kind of the dynamic too, but I don't know. Like
I think it was almost it's comparable, but I think what sets Steel Ball Run apart from the rest and makes it so much better is that Gyro serves like a mentor role, which gives him a far better reason, I think, for being the focus, because he helps teach, Johnny, and that's his reason for being there on top of like all his own personal reasons. But from a story perspective, like he's there to teach and help Johnny grow. So in those moments, he is leaned on and needed to help win those battles. Johnny provides his expertise, where he can. But I think that's what made this feel so much different and work. While Bruno's still, Giorno needed Bruno to be able to infiltrate the mafia. It felt like once Giorno was let in, they were kind of on the same level with each other, even though they weren't within the mafia.
For sure.
But with Gyro and Johnny, it's like Gyro's like, I'm up here, you're down here, and we want to get you up here. But yeah, that's what I liked about it.
And I liked again, like just the setting, and I liked how towards the end, or at the end actually, we're seeing the end of the race, and there's people that have just been going through the race who had like no idea about any of this corpse bullshit. Or anything that was happening with the president or Diego. Like no one had any idea, and that's just so fun to me.
Yeah.
I love that.
And we actually learned that Poco Loco won the race.
He got that luck.
And that was something that was told to us from the very beginning, and I doubted it. I was skeptical.
Yeah.
But he came through. He won. So congrats, Poco Loco. Even though I also expected him to play a far more significant role in the story than he ended up playing. Like, he was almost like not there at all.
Well, I read somewhere that him just being in the race, it was a chain effect, because he always had that luck on his side. So it was always bound to happen that Diego was going to end up.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I love that.
Or everything else.
There were
happened.
There were a couple characters. Like, I was really sad to see Sandman go the way he did, and other characters go the way that they did as well. But Poco Loco was somebody I really thought was going to get a little more shine, which is not, I'm not mad at it, but I just didn't expect him to play such a small role in the race. But yeah, I absolutely am obsessed with this part. We've gushed a lot about it. We have so much more that we want to say, so much more that we're going to be reminded of as we start going through everything in a more beat-by-beat fashion. But without further ado, let's just jump in to going through these chapters beat by beat so we can talk about how much we love this part a little bit more. So where we picked up was interlude, a joke from Gyro.
Stop.
This chapter was insane.
Stop. Stop.
I didn't even know really what was going on. I mean, he just I believe that he was just reciting the days of the week, and the point of the bit was that he was just getting crazier and crazier as the week went on. But it disturbed so
me.
Bizarre.
It disturbed me. It was bizarre.
But it did make me laugh.
It's just Gyro's face. It's disturbing. And Johnny's just like,
yeah.
Okay.
That was a really fun way to jump back into reading, though.
I was not expecting it. I was like, what? Is this like a fan-made thing? And apparently this was, I think, only in the volume versions.
Oh.
We're reading it online, but this was only in the printed versions.
That's interesting. Wow.
But yeah, what an odd chapter. Probably the shortest JoJo chapter we've ever read.
Well, in Steel Ball Run for sure.
I mean, maybe in general. I can't remember such a short chapter and anything that we've read.
It was just so that it could that joke could play out. That was the whole point of it. A little bonus chapter to show. But again,
Gyro's just bits they don't really hit.
They don't really land?
No. I mean, they're funny because they don't.
That's exactly what it is. And they're funny because this is what I love about this part in general, but about these moments is because it's really shining a light on Gyro and Johnny's dynamic. If Johnny wasn't there to be the straight man, then a lot of these jokes would fall even more flat in the sense that they wouldn't be funny in universe or to us. But because Johnny's there as the straight man, not really amused and also kind of confused by what's going on, it makes it so much funnier for us, the reader. And I love their dynamic. And I love that about Gyro, that he can just, with all this, these intense things going on around him, he still has time to crack these jokes and to really commit to these bits.
That's all you have. You're riding on a horse for miles and miles and miles. I can only imagine the bullshit that he was spouting. And he's like, okay,
I just want to see a version of the story where
I want to be the fly on the horse. I want to be a fly on the horse.
A fly on the horse. I like that. Yeah. Where we just, it's a side story just about all the moments in between.
Yeah.
The main plot points.
Yeah.
But I also like how he sets him up too. He's just like, Johnny, I'm going to try something. All right. I'm going to try a little bit. I think it's pretty funny. You let me know how it is. I just love how he sets it up in that way.
I have a gag. And
Yeah.
Johnny's like, okay, here we go.
But you can tell even in Johnny's reaction, like, okay, all right. I mean, we're kind of in the middle of some pretty heavy things, but all right. So funny. Love their dynamic. But where we really pick back up is Free for All in Philadelphia.
Yeah, Gyro eating shit, like actual shit off the ground. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was really surprising to me.
Yeah, that was wild.
I kept tracking, but bitch, we know it's horse shit. Like, you could just, there's different ways. You could feel like the heat.
Right.
You could see, that's definitely horse droppings, the smell. Like, there's so many other things, I think, before you have to, like, physically pick it up and eat it. And it wasn't really batted. No one batted an eye.
People were like, "What'd you find?"
Yeah.
They were
Johnny's like, "So how was it?" Like,
yeah.
That was weird.
What it tastes like.
You remember that in the chapter? It was really weird.
But yeah, I kind of forgot about that for a second, but then I very quickly remembered.
Like, where we picked up after that crazy ass chapter is just Gyro going on the floor and eating actual horse shit. That's insane.
You're like, I ain't no tracker, but I'm sure.
His response was like, "Oh yeah, this is it's warm. They just were here." And I'm like, "Bro, you couldn't feel that shit? Like, you couldn't pick it up? Like,
he had to know
the taste.
He had to be sure."
Anyway, I just think Iraqi was like fucking with us right there. Because someone explain if actually, I know there's people that eat shit.
What?
Tracking stuff.
Okay. All right.
What?
Yeah.
What? Is that crazy?
I know that there's a bunch of you guys out there that love to eat shit. So if anybody could in the comments down below, you freaking shit eaters, if you could let us know.
I didn't mean it like
why
that.
you do that.
I didn't mean it like that. I just meant like if there's an actual reasoning or Rocky was just pulling our fucking leg.
Pull it. Keep pulling.
Keep pulling on it.
Yeah. Keep pulling.
Pulling my third one.
Yeah. Oop, that's my third one. Yoo-hoo.
Yeah, that's
That's how
Gyro.
he comes.
No. He's like a stand-up, and that's his like.
Yeah, that's his catchphrase. That's his get her done. He's like, all right, that's it for me. Gyro Zeppeli. Until next time, yoo-hoo! And everybody in the crowd, it's like his, like his Wendy Williams, you know?
Oh, shit.
But we're going to keep it kind of general, too, because going through every single, but details like this,
I have details, yeah.
Don't glaze over these.
There's a
These are
lot
important.
of other people that eat shit in this chapter, so I have it marked, I have it ready, I have it.
And that's what we lean on you here for those important details. But we're going to talk about everything else in a more general way. So this is the portion of the part, Free for All in Philadelphia.
Yes.
Where Gyro, Johnny, they're tracking Diego. They're trying to get that eye. And everybody meets up in Philadelphia. And Johnny ends up, after many other series of events, Johnny ends up getting shot. He
gets shot. And before he was wilding out, I just wanted to say.
Go on.
He was ready for the kill. And even Gyro was
he saw the blue flame in his eye.
Yeah, and Gyro was like, you need to just kind of chill out. And
he really did put him in check.
He did. He was like, we don't need to kill people. We just need to get the shit and take off. And he's like, no, I want to kill.
No, he's like, no, yeah, for sure. For sure. And Gyro was like, no, dude, we're just going to go. We just need to take the eye.
I'm prepared to shoot if need be. I'm ready to kill him. I'm going to fucking kill him. I'm bro.
And he's like, nah, man, I mean, if he does something, if he bucks, I'm going to buck back. And Gyro was like, I mean, we could just take it. Like,
and then he gets bugged.
Yeah. Bad.
Like 3 times in a row.
No, Johnny stays getting fucked up.
No,
this whole part.
Everyone.
He gets like arms chopped off. I mean, this man gets fucked up.
I know. Every chance he gets, it's insane. He's like, now he's pulled in a fucking sewer. Like, I don't know what the fuck he's on. But
yeah,
it's pretty bad.
But yes. And again, Mehgan coming in with the important details.
That's it.
But
that's all I have for the rest of the episode.
No, I know that's a lot. But so they're there trying to track Diego, and Johnny gets shot. This is where we really start to kind of learn about Funny Valentine's standability. But the way it's presented is in a way that we're not fully aware of what is exactly happening.
I loved this part.
Me too.
Love when stories replay certain events over and over and over again in different people's perspectives. And I love the mystery of it all. It was such a cool way to show, I mean, finally, in the last couple chapters to show, well, the last half, his stand finally.
Yes.
And usually I would say pretty much in every other JoJo part we've seen it pretty quickly, except for a part of Golden Wind. Yeah. Actually, that's when it was like, what really is going on? With the whole Doppio Diablo demon shit.
Diablo demon shit.
Yeah, but this was pretty cool. I really enjoyed these couple chapters.
I loved the way it all played out. It played out from everybody else's perspective. It seemed as if, first of all, there was Gyro, who went to a nearby park where there were a bunch of people and asked them all what happened, what they saw. And he's asking kids, mind you.
Yeah, really, ask other people, Maybe you trust them.
Well, there wasn't anybody else in the park. There was an older gentleman painting in the park, but most of them were kids. And the kids are giving him conflicting information. One group of kids said it was this person. Another group of kids say it was this person. Then the old guy shows up and he's like, let me set the record straight. These kids don't know what they're talking about.
These kids don't know shit, even though you ate some right now.
Yeah, I can still smell it on your breath.
Yeah.
But they don't know shit.
For real.
Oh, his breath smells like shit, but I'd still,
Hit.
Yeah. He tells them they all end up telling him that it was a different person, that it was Weka Pipo, that it was Diego, and the old man painting says it was this guy, not even knowing, I don't think, that it was the president. And then people got mad at him, like, why are you accusing the president of doing this? He would never do something like this.
He would never do that. But then everyone else, like Diego and I think Weka Pipo, both saw the president, right? If I'm correct?
Well, everybody, I think even, I think it was Johnny or Gyro or both of them kind of caught a glimpse of him, too.
Yeah. They're like, I think it was Gyro that saw him and was like, he's around the corner.
Yeah, probably.
And Johnny was already like on the floor at that point.
And then he disappeared.
Yeah, then he was gone.
And what we slowly start to realize is, and again, this is over the course of a series of events, but what we slowly begin to realize is that Funny Valentine and his stand ability, he is able to travel to alternate mirror dimensions.
Yes. It's what he can do, dirty deeds.
Dirty deeds
done dirt cheap. Allowing
dirty
neighboring
deeds done dirt cheap. We were listening to that while we were while Mehgan was putting together
it was a whole playlist, and then it started playing like Disney music, really weird. But allowing neighboring worlds to exist simultaneously in the same location.
Yeah.
So you can like pretty much just like the neighboring world. It's just like a multiverse shit any.
Yeah, it's kind of
any universe.
It is essentially a multiverse kind of thing. He can travel between them, and these are universes which are infinite, that some of which have only very, 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 very slight differences in them. All of them,
like Doctor Strange with the red means go.
Oh yeah,
and
well
green means stop.
That was just a bad movie. Yeah, multiverse of midness. But anyway, every version of Valentine in these universes also share the same goal he does, but the corpse parts themselves only exist in this main universe, and his stand, there is only one of them. So whenever he dies, which is crazy because he dies, like he physically dies, and then passes his stand and its ability on to another version of himself, with the same goal, and kind of, catches him up on everything that's going on. And then they end up taking his place. Not only can he bring those versions of himself back, he can bring other people from those universes back as well. And that's what he was doing.
And that can ultimately result to their demise.
Well, yes. If two of the same exact thing exist in the same universe, they'll be drawn to each other and cause each other to be destroyed.
Yeah, if they meet in a close proximity, they can get destroyed, which I like. Usually in time travel, like, you're going to mess up the timeline, but in this is just like, you're just going to be erased.
I love this. The universe kind of fixes itself.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
it's bigger than just you if you're tweaking it with it.
Yeah. And if you're tweaking.
Yeah.
Which is what Valentine was doing to lose all that weight in the span of 1 or 2 chapters. He was tweaking.
No, I think he was like, okay, multiverse with the best body.
Yeah.
Who's put in the most work? And then he's
You know what's so funny, Mehgan, is that's probably actually what happened. We just didn't know. That he went to another universe, and they were probably pretty much the same in ideals and everything. But one was just, eating a little better than the other.
That's what I'm saying. It shows his resolve.
It really does.
That in all of those universes, that like pretty much every single one, he has the same ideologies and goals. Like it's pretty baller.
Yeah.
It's pretty baller.
Yeah. I really loved this stand ability, how it unfolded. Ultimately, and again, the way that it works too is you have to be put between something and something else. You have to be put between two things, which again, I just love that detail. But what?
Nothing.
Say it.
No, it's not appropriate.
You can say put you between something and something.
Yeah.
Just say it now.
It's not appropriate.
Okay. Anyway, what ends up happening is Diego gets dragged through, but halfway.
Yeah.
And this is what was causing all of the confusion, is versions of other characters were being brought to the main universe, causing all this confusion to happen.
Mhm,
Diego gets pulled in halfway through and kind of stuck there. He pieces it all together. Diego's really on his big brain shit. He's really like figuring everything out.
Yeah, he's really on top of it.
Yeah, he figures it all out. I mean, I think there's still like maybe one thing he was kind of like not 100% sure of, but as soon as he pieced it all together, he was able to put himself between something, pull himself back through, and I think he ended up being the reason that ultimately Weka Pipo dies, because he gets combined with
That was rough.
yeah, an alternate version of himself. And that was so rough because
It was very gory.
we knew what this man wanted. And after he just found out that his sister was still alive and that, you know, he could potentially still be and live in some kind of peace, we were rooting for him. We really thought he might achieve it. I really thought he was going to achieve it. And then he just died. And that really got me, and that really broke my heart. Diego.
It's always.
But yeah, this was definitely a highlight of these chapters. I mean, let's be real. All these chapters were great.
Yeah.
All of them. But after we move on, this is where I believe Hot Pants and Diego team up. They team up to chase after Valentine, who has lured Lucy to a ship for them to escape on.
Yeah.
Forgot about poor Lucy.
Poor Lucy. Yeah, that gets fucking wild for her.
It really does.
I was like, what is happening?
And that's not, I don't want to skip over. I don't want to forget Chocolate Disco.
Oh, yes. Yes. I was like, no, I don't want to. No X and Y coordinates. I don't want to do math again. Thank you.
I really did like the Chocolate Disco
No, I did.
fight.
Yeah.
But you know, of all of them,
yeah.
I would say it was my favorite, but I there wasn't one in this entire part that I didn't like. But it was also really fast.
Oh,
and I liked that a lot. I was like, oh, damn, it's already over. That's crazy. I was gearing up for... Yeah. But it was after that, then, that they end up teaming up, Hot Pants and Diego, and Lucy gets drawn to the boat. Now, Lucy, you know, we stand Lucy. She ends up kind of being, in a way, the person who makes it all right in the very end.
I have a theory about that.
Really?
She seems sus as fuck at the end.
Lucy?
I think she took the corpse part or something. Or she is the corpse now.
Well, we did see that kind of happen.
Yeah, we did see it already. But he was like, oh, it's buried within the ground. And she's like, yeah, it is. Haha. And she like walked up the stairs and I was like, that was sus.
I think Lucy really did put it away. What's she gonna do with it?
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I
It was odd. It was just odd. Maybe I'm looking into it.
No. Maybe you are. Maybe you're not. Either way, who cares? That's what you felt. That's the vibe you picked up on.
I don't know.
But it is crazy because Lucy, in a way, now being pregnant with the corpse part, she is the Virgin Mary of this part. And out of curiosity, I wanted to Google and see how old the Virgin Mary was.
Oh, yeah, she was 14.
She was 14. So she's exactly the same age as Lucy, which is purposeful.
Back in the day, yeah, it wasn't.
But I just think that to me, in my own weird mind, kind of like recontextualizes everything.
What do you mean?
It's just
your weird mind?
Because it's just funnier to me now. And I don't mean to disrespect, Christianity or any religion that believes in the Virgin Mary, but it's just funnier to me now that everybody is like deifying and praying to a 14-year-old. It's just funny. It's just funny that when you see the Virgin Mary, she's like that. She's 14.
Well, that's
maybe 13.
They're depicting her when she's older.
Yeah, but when she immaculately conceived, she was 13.
Yeah,
so we had the fate of the whole world and our sins in the hands of a...
No, but yeah, she just gave birth at 14, but she was a mom to Jesus until he died.
That's true. That's true. But she was a young mom. She was a teen mom. And it is because of the time and everything. I know I'm being silly. That's what I said. It's just a weird thing that in my mind, it's a little funny. And that I don't mean to offend anybody. I just, I just couldn't help but chuckle to myself about that. Anyway, moving on.
Chuckle. Nyo-ho-ho-ho.
So yeah, this is when she gets on the train and they start heading to their final destination. Hot Pants and Diego team up. This was an awesome moment here. A team up I never thought I'd see happen, but a team up that I loved. I didn't think that Hot Pants would ever, align themselves with Dio, but they struck a deal and worked together. It was even crazier than when Diego, now knowing what Valentine's ability is, sees copies of them come from off the train. I mean, again, it was just so fucking cool. As I saw them both walking towards our universe's versions of them,
I was like, no.
Yeah.
Get away.
I couldn't help but think, how are they going to fight them? They can't touch them. They can't even really get near them. The other versions of them don't know.
Yeah. Diego was just like, don't do it, Hot Pants. And Hot Pants was like, just letting it happen. I was like, get away.
Yeah, get away.
Diego said, like, don't do it. If you do, I'm going to repeat it again. Do not come close to them. She's like, what? I was like,
I mean, they didn't know. They can't fight. They can't really do much. And if they do anything, it's the end. It's the absolute end for both of them. So I was on the edge of my seat. The stakes felt very high, felt very real. And ultimately it does end in our girl, Hot Pants' death. And ultimately Diego's as well.
Well,
our universe's version of Diego, which I really liked.
Yeah. That was pretty graphic too.
Oh yeah. That was rough because he ends up getting pulled underneath the train, and every time you think that, because Diego really put in work. He put up a really good fight, and you really almost thought he fucking had him, man.
Oh, well, maybe that's why he acted different towards the end. Maybe he wouldn't have done all that.
No, exactly.
Yeah, said all that. It's like maybe he didn't go through all of what he went through, that version. The one with the world didn't go through.
The one with the world is supposed to be, I think, one that's more kin to the Dio that we know from previous parts. But Diego, this version of Diego was very different, in my opinion. What
do you mean?
Just like, not extremely different, but he wasn't exactly, I don't know. Yeah, his actions I don't think would have been the same.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like the whole thing with Lucy towards the end of him being like, "Ooh, you're so cute and small. What am I gonna do with you?" I was like, "Bro." Yeah. Like, did you not like?
Yeah, I don't think our boy Diego would have done that.
No.
He didn't have no time for that.
No, it's not even time for that. He would have been like,
Yeah.
I don't stand these men out here making women's life difficult. Because of what happened to his mom.
Well, yeah.
Twice. That's why I'm saying I don't think I was like, it was so weird out of character. I mean, we hadn't seen him like do anything about, but Lucy just has a way about her, and everyone is just, I don't know, Rocky's on some shit with this one.
Yeah, everybody falls under her spell.
Yeah, it was 14-year-old spell.
Everybody.
Maybe she's just holy, like the Virgin Mary.
Yeah. Maybe it just goes to show you that if you hold on to your virginity, you'll attract more people. You know? Araki is just trying to say,
pause.
Protect your flower is all he's saying. That's all he's trying to say. He's trying to say, like, you know?
Don't ever say that again.
He's just
don't ever say flower. I'm literally gonna fucking barf.
A man's virginity is a flower too, a delicate rose.
It's fucking disgusting. It's fucking disgusting.
Anyway,
Just move from
Diego
this.
puts up one hell of a fight, and we almost think he's going to be able to do it. But at the very last minute, Valentine is able to swap himself out with another version of himself from another universe and pass his stand and his ability on. It's also interesting to note that in every universe, because the corpse only exists in the base universe, that they're all after something else in each one. So in one universe, they're after diamonds, they're after, gold, they're after this, they're after that, which is why they would all be sort of after Valentine or around in the same kind of area. Which, again, that attention to detail, that little touch, I really do appreciate.
Yeah.
This is about the time that, and R.I.P. Diego does ultimately get taken out as well, which was really sad.
Yeah, we just said that, right?
Yeah, but I just want to say that it was oddly sad. I never thought that I would feel sadness from Diego Brando's death, but my heart broke for him. It really did. And that's, again, why I think this version of him is so special. But this is also around the time that Gyro starts telling Johnny that there's a final rotation that he hasn't taught him. A rotation that is only capable with the help of a horse.
Yes.
And a rotation that has never been achieved before. The infinite rotation has never been achieved before, just theorized or passed down. And in order to achieve it, he will have to form a golden rectangle with the horse's movement and him on the horse. They all have to be a golden rectangle, and then he can use that to create this perfect rotation. It's also about this time, too, that the corpse part being fully assembled. Am I forgetting something?
Oh, yeah. Really important thing, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, we get to learn Gyro's real name.
Oh, yeah.
And Johnny's fetish that he didn't have to say. I don't know why he said that. He felt way too comfortable in that moment, I think.
Well, they're friends now.
I know he just overshared.
Friends share fetishes with each other.
Yeah, but Gyro didn't say anything back. And
yeah, he's like, cool, thanks, dude. For sure. I was thinking more like,
Johnny,
your favorite stuffed animal's name, or maybe one time you shit yourself and you didn't tell anybody.
He's like, or just he didn't say anything. He just went, "Oh, that's my real name. So let's keep moving." I was like, "Damn." Johnny must have felt so embarrassed after that. Like,
he's like, "I like bug bites." So specific.
I like women with bug bites when they get red and swollen.
Yeah, that was wild. That was really weird. That's a weird one. That's a weird fetish. I mean, it's, I guess, a kind of harmless fetish, I guess.
Not to the person with the bug bite.
I mean, if they're just getting bit by bugs, and you have nothing to do with it, you're not in the other room just letting out bees so you can get a little turned on, then if it's not that, and it's just that you see one in the wild and you're like, ooh, damn.
Yeah, but how many times is he around women with, I have a bug bite, and they point it out to him? He has to be looking for that shit. Well, or he has to have seen it so many times in order to feel a certain type of way about it.
Well, you got to think about in these times. There's a lot of bugs. Even we've been to a farm with horses.
That's true.
To do research for this episode.
This part.
But we saw horses covered in flies and bugs, and there's just bugs everywhere. So I'm imagining that they would, they'd be a lot more common.
Sure.
Johnny would just be turning around everywhere you look.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Ew. That was so funny.
Yeah.
I was just a cute little.
And then Gyro said, Johnny, they cut to a flashback, and Johnny was surrounded by a group of girls.
Yeah.
And Gyro was like, Johnny, who are all those girls? And he's like, oh, these are my mosquitoes, and they're covered in bug bites. And he calls them his mosquitoes.
That's good.
You didn't react to it. You reacted like
good.
Gyro.
No, that's good. It's like, hey, Gyro, why do mosquitoes bite?
Why, Johnny?
Because they get all the itches.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you could say like, you know why I call myself a mosquito?
Why?
Because I get all the itches. Yeah. That was pretty good.
Thank you.
But yeah, I love the way he responded to Johnny's fetish, which I never knew I needed to know. Yeah. And I'm glad I know it.
And I love the confirmation. Obviously, so fucking dumb. Like, oh yeah, no, my full name is like Jonathan Joestar. Like,
yeah,
of course Johnny is short for Jonathan.
Yeah. And so
or
he is
sometimes
this
Johnny.
universe's Jonathan Joestar. And also something I didn't pick up on the first time, but the mouse is named after the dog. The dog that Dio burns in part 1, Danny. That's his brother's name. Or whatever the mouse's name is.
The mouse doesn't have a name.
I think it does.
Does it?
Because it was his pet mouse.
Wasn't his brother named Danny?
Either way, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but I thought it was Danny. I'm pretty sure it's Danny. I'm just going to say that.
Okay. Maybe I'm probably wrong.
But it's just this universe's version of his dog. Or not really, but you know what I mean. It's a nod to that.
Yeah.
Which I just thought was cool. I thought that was a nice little...
similar but not the same.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And then we get that, the bear sign.
Oh, that was kind of crazy.
Yeah. And I also wanted to, I drew it here. It was a little further back, but that creepy smiling wolf in chapter 67, what was that about? Comment below, look it up. Chapter 67, Jojo wolf, it might come up. Very scary. Anyway.
But that sign, though.
That sign was scary, too, yeah.
I was like, this is some fucking Twilight Zone shit. Like, what is happening right now? Yeah.
That was very...
Yeah. But it ends up being because there is a gravitational pull that is...
converging.
Everything is like, converging. And the corpse parts, once assembled, what they do is they allow the user to basically attract good fortune.
Yes.
And detour
yes.
bad fortune.
Yes.
Bad fortune to somewhere else, making America's problems everybody else's.
True. And even Johnny, we see later, straight murdering people.
Oh my God, that was
straight
fucking
murdering
crazy.
people. Just and Valentine's like, you just killed another person, Johnny. I was like, what is happening?
And Johnny, like, you know what? I kind of respect him for it a little bit. I'm gonna be honest, because he wasn't like purposely doing it. He was like, "Fuck, dude, I have to get Valentine." But I feel like a lot of other shonen protagonists would have like had a breakdown.
No, he's
after
like,
they killed one person, he'd be like, "What have I done? I'm a murderer. I've become just like Valentine." Yeah. But he was like, "Whoops, let's go." You know?
Another one.
Yeah.
Another one.
I'm gonna get you eventually.
Another one.
Yeah. But it's almost like karma.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, exactly. And it is just like, yeah, it is so funny. And it's such a funny point because he really is. He's just like out for fucking blood. Like, he's straight up at the beginning of this part. I was like, damn, Johnny, like, you are not playing around anymore. Like, you want to fucking kill people.
Yeah.
Like,
that blue fire in his eye.
Yeah. Blue fire in his eye.
Yeah. But also, it was kind of crazy that this was like a mathematical explanation of like good and bad fortune, of the universe like balancing itself out, of like destiny, karma, like all kind of balancing the scales and equaling zero. Like everything kind of comes out in the grand scheme and in the scope of the universe. Everything is kind of null. Everything is kind of zero. I thought that was really interesting and a really interesting concept, and one that was, again, shown so well. I don't know how Araki even, first of all, comes up with these concepts, but then sits down and draws them. To say that out loud, to say what happens and what Valentine's ability is, and I think it was the Golden Curtain, when he aligns himself within the Golden Curtain to explain what is actually happening and good fortune being misdirected to other parts of the universe, and that he can exist and take from alternate universes but all share the same goal. And then to say, draw that. I don't know how Araki does it, but he does it so fucking well. And it's the main reason why this, I don't know why this wouldn't be adapted or animated, but like it would be the biggest crime. I would personally fly to whatever. I would fly to David Productions, dude.
Whoa,
and I would stand outside.
Fly there.
Yeah. And I would protest until they did it. Until they did it and they did it right.
There's a lot of
Peacefully
controversy
protest.
about that, which is kind of interesting.
In what way? What do you mean?
Oh, people don't want it adopted.
You guys are crazy, dude. You guys don't want to be happy.
Comment if you're in that group. I want to hear more about why. Because there's a lot of YouTube videos that say like this, they can't adapt this. Like it would be dog shit if they adapted this. Like
I mean, the only thing I think is, and I'm joking, but I think in all seriousness, why maybe is because of some of the things that they covered. They don't think a studio would faithfully and be able to faithfully adapt it. That they would have to change some things. They would have to tweak some things, and maybe that would take away from the part. But I
mean,
hope
like
that,
what? Like just Lucy in general.
The 14-year-old girl.
That's literally it.
And some of the gore and stuff too, because this is when it.
I
mean, some of the previous parts have been very gory.
Yeah.
And they do their thing, right, with the black silhouette or whatever, to censor it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that I would be heartbroken. This needs to be adapted. This needs to be an anime. I don't know why it wouldn't. They would be fools. They would be foolish if they didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah. So a lot's going on. A lot is going on. It's Gyro and it's Johnny versus Valentine. And he's pulling out all the stops. He's aligned himself within the golden curtain, and now he and his stand have reached this new level. They've achieved an upgrade and are borderline like unstoppable. I didn't know how they could possibly defeat this foe. Gyro is yelling to Johnny about the perfect rotation, the infinite rotation. And, you know, Johnny is in that moment when Johnny's killing people. He is like trying, and he's like, fuck, I can't. But even me, I was like, Johnny, just focus for a second, dude. Damn. But he ends up, you know, not being able to do it. And Gyro delivers his final words to Johnny, which are reiterating to him this next lesson, this final lesson, before he gets.
Is that right here?
Taken out. I mean, I might be speeding through things.
Yeah, I think.
But
I think so. But
just so we don't skip over anything, it's not before Gyro has a badass fucking moment, and we do get to see him kind of almost achieve this infinite rotation himself with his stand sort of manifesting.
Yeah.
Right, which is Ball Breaker. And it was so cool and so satisfying to finally see. And this is why it feels like a treat. This is why it's so exciting, because it's not really ever shown until this moment. And then you get to see it. But the thing that stopped Gyro from succeeding and ultimately led to his death was that I believe Valentine was able to shave just like the tiniest bit off of this ball, like the way it grazed either like the golden curtain or whatever, caused it to not be a perfect sphere, and then changed even slightly the trajectory of its rotation and didn't allow it to deliver a fatal blow, but did still land a pretty big blow. That's where his ear gets kind of gone.
Yeah. And they're trying to decipher which one is which, and they're like, the ear.
And yeah. For the sake of time, I had glazed over that, but I realize now that was not the move. That it needs to be talked about. It needs to be talked about. It was incredible. It was immaculate. But yeah, that was such a cool moment too, where he comes back with two. And this is a trick that Valentine, I think, uses again. But I mean, I just really like all the ways that he does use it. He brings other people back. He switches himself out, but then brings multiple versions of himself.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just so... such a good fight. Like, Gyro put up such a fucking awesome fight. But yeah, ultimately wasn't able to defeat him.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked he was taken out like that.
Me too.
I was like, oh, damn, that's it, I guess, for him.
I
thought he was going to make it to the end, honestly.
Me too. I was in utter disbelief when he died. And I really did think that Valentine, because what he does later is tell Johnny that he will bring another Gyro back from another universe, which something that they didn't address, and I kind of wanted them to address, was that they would be ripping a gyro away from their universe. And like gyro, although the changes might be slight, there's another Johnny. This is what I didn't like about the fucking Scarlet Witch bullshit either in the movies. Was that, yes, she wants her kids, but like the universe that she goes to, she exists in that universe. And she's a good mom. And meanwhile, she's floating around reading the freaking Necronomicon or whatever the hell it is, and trying to take someone else's kids.
Yeah.
Like, they just didn't address it. Like,
she's trying to take her kids away from her.
Yeah. She's getting her own damn way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really thought that, and they just didn't address that. Johnny didn't say that, like, I don't want to take him away from his Johnny, or I don't want to take him away from his, universe, whatever else he's trying to do. But yeah, Johnny doesn't end up doing it for his own reasons. And I thought that was really cool. It definitely made the impact of Gyro's death so much more real.
I know. It wasn't no freaking Avdol situation.
No Avdol
okay?
shit. No Avdol shit. People get resurrected all the time.
Yeah, it wasn't no Jotaro bullshit.
Right.
Okay?
Stone Ocean shit. Right.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
It wasn't Bruno. Bruno's was... Oof.
That was rough.
That started so early on, too.
I honestly...
That was so early on in the story. He just became like a fucking corpse. Like, what?
Sometimes I think I'm on crack or something because...
Why?
Because I love part 5.
Because you're on crack.
Maybe. I'm on some kind of drug. I don't know. But a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people really don't like it.
It might be... well, it's definitely just because of Giorno. But we've had this discussion before.
We've had it before, but I just want to say, when you said that right now, every time like things are brought up from that part, I'm like, damn, that shit was good. It was rough. It was heartbreaking. I loved it. But yes, Gyro stays dead, and that sucks. But it needs to suck. And it needs to be permanent. So
that's like Hot Pants is gone. Like
Diego is gone.
Yeah, and I did like how it was
like people gone.
It was like a duo. I mean, they were like a duo. There was people that came in and went in their group, but it was like the two, like Gyro was like the what is the Joe Bros. He was only one Joe Bro.
Yeah.
Like it was really everyone kind of came and went, but they had their own shit going on, and they were together till the end.
Yeah.
Just the two of them. That was intense.
Yeah, that's again, you're right, Mehgan. That's what made it feel so intense.
Yeah.
Because that was his only friend.
I know.
His mentor, but his only friend.
He told his fetish too. Like, he's never told anyone that.
Well, he took that shit to the grave. And that's why Johnny was like, I don't want you to go get another gyro.
Yeah, because, I don't want that to get out. I said that in like a moment of weakness. Like,
maybe I said that in another universe too.
Yeah.
And, I don't want.
It was just a bit. Like, it was just a gag.
Yeah.
It was just a gag.
Or that'd be funny if Johnny met an alternate version of Johnny. He's like, the bug bite thing, right? And the other Johnny's like, no.
Wait, what do you mean bug bite?
Like, what? He's like, mosquitoes, because I get the itches, And he's like, I'm going to go. I'm out of here.
Bye.
But yeah, the moment you see the ghost, the golden ghost,
I know.
That's when you know it's for real.
That's when you know it's for real, for real. And like Iggy, I was like,
yeah. Fuck. And it really broke me. And Johnny seeing it happen, and Johnny knowing that his friend is dead, and him thinking back to all of the moments, and then again, us, the reader, re-experiencing all those moments, and feeling like it was an honor to witness their friendship and their bond. I was
just
shattered.
sad.
Yeah,
it was sad for him. I mean, he was just trying to do something good.
Yeah,
like his motives for even joining the race, like, which I was so fucked. Don't even get me started on that shit, bro. The result of all of that shit, like.
Oh, I know. Yeah, the little boy died. I'm just kidding.
No, he did.
No, he didn't. Oh, he died. Oh, he died later, but he didn't get executed. Is what I mean. But he did die. Like a couple. Like, didn't they say like? Was it months or years later?
Yeah, no, eventually he got a cold and died. I was like, sick. Yeah.
I mean, he literally got sick, yeah.
Like, literally all that for nothing.
But I kind of think, to the point of the universe and just all this, I don't know. I think that was also very impactful and very purposeful.
Because it was like, it doesn't matter how hard you try, things can go wrong.
It was also like, it doesn't take away from why Gyro, like, still what he was doing, what he was trying to achieve. It doesn't take away from that.
But it is like, it doesn't matter. Like, the universe is going to have its way. Like, it's going to do what it's going to do. Like, whatever you can input.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
you can only change what you're in control of. You're not in control of the universe.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that even though the universe is outside of your control, it doesn't mean it should stop you from trying to change things, from trying to do things, trying to do good.
Yeah. Well, it's like Valentine and Johnny of what exactly the opposite of what they're trying to do. Like, Johnny's just trying to control what he can, and Valentine's like, I can control everything. I'm going to get all these pieces. I'm going to get myself again and again and again and again. And he's trying to do that and trying to get the fucking napkin. And
the fucking napkin, dude. This man went to 1 cotillion class and then can't get it out of his head.
For real.
Yeah. He was like, the napkin.
The napkin.
And we learned about the handkerchief, too, which I think we talked about briefly in the beginning. But yeah, that his dad.
I love those puppies.
Oh, little Valentine. Mini
Valentine with all the chunky puppies.
Yeah. And some man came back, and I think this man ended up becoming a stepdad, I believe.
Oh, really?
Because
That's kind of fucked up.
Because I think this, and correct me if I'm wrong.
No way.
I think this man's name was something Valentine. Because they said that his father, maybe I'm wrong, but when I read it the first time, I was like, this man who's coming to deliver this news and said he was like Valentine's dad's friend, his last name is Valentine. Does that mean that he ends up like swooping in? I don't know. Not really important, but
remember.
Either way, he tells this kid.
No, he tells the mom and the kid in the room. He's like, "Hey, I just want to let you guys know, the most horrible thing happened to your husband and your father."
Yeah, and he goes, yeah, your husband and your father, yeah, he died, and the
mom's like, "Stop, like, please stop." And he's like, "Yeah, but you want to know why or how?"
And they're like, "No, please, this is so painful.
Yeah,
no, like that was my, the father of my child."
And he goes, "Okay, I'll tell you anyway."
Yeah, no. He's like, so he got captured by the enemy. And she was like, "No, okay, that's enough." And it's like, no. But there is a lot more. There's a lot more. They actually like tortured him.
Yeah.
No, but like for days, for like a long time.
For days. And he didn't give up because he wanted to see you guys, and he cared about you and his country. And
then she's like, "That's enough. Stop." He's like, "All right, fine, I'll stop. My bad, I crossed the line. Yeah. Fuck, I was out of line."
Yeah.
But I feel like I have to mention this, dude. They tied up like every orifice of his body, like he was stripped naked, and like he had nowhere to hide this like handkerchief. He just wanted to give it to you. I just feel like I have to tell you where it came from.
She's like, no.
Yeah. And then
and she's like, "Where did he hide it?" And she's like rubbing her eyes, and he's like, "Oh."
He's like, "Oh fuck, dude, you're not gonna like this." But
he shoved it up his ass.
He gouged his own blind eye out because of all the fucking beatings he took. Yeah,
that's a cover.
Yeah. Oh. What was the truth?
He shoved it up his ass.
Yeah. For sure.
He just did. That was the one detail he didn't want to let his wife know.
But that's the one. He's like, yeah. He's just
the one that he lied.
He's like so toxically straight. That's not even a word. Toxically. He's so like toxic. He's like, fuck, dude. I don't want it to sound like he was gay.
But he says all the horrible shit.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that he decides to lie about.
Yeah.
He's like,
because all that other shit was honorable, dude.
I have to make up a story about that part because oof.
Because yikes, dude.
Yeah.
I don't want this young American boy to think his dad
with his puppies.
Yeah, with his little puppies. Think his dad was soft. Think his dad liked stuff up his ass.
And he's like, "No, I can't give this guy. I can't give his son this handkerchief so he could carry it from generation to generation and know that his father shoved it up his ass."
Valentine's crying, wiping his eyes.
That's what I mean.
Like,
yeah. That's what I said. Like his mom. He's like, she's like, "Oh," and he's like, "Oof." Yeah. Didn't wash it. But
this is what sets Valentine, because he ends up telling him that his dad was a true patriot, that he did everything he did for his country because protecting his country meant protecting his family. And this is where he learned it. Secondhand from this man who I think goes on to fuck his mom. Not sure about that. But I think that is what skewed his moral compass a little bit. Because as a child, he is hearing about these very horrible things that were done to his father. And in a way, I mean, that's very traumatic for a child.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But
even if you have puppies.
But in a way, his father kind of to him becomes larger than life and
He
like
becomes
unreachable.
He becomes a god figure, if you will.
He does. A Jesus figure.
Jesus, he sacrificed himself.
For the country. Damn, Mehgan, you're so insightful.
Corpse.
You can't just say corpse.
Yeah, I can.
You could say like, of corpse I am.
Oh.
You know?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
You missed the
good.
opportunity. Yeah.
Fuck. That was good.
But we learn about all this, and then we start to question, whether, and this is again a testament to Araki and how he wrote Funny Valentine, but we start to question whether Valentine is actually trying to do something good or not. He's going about it the wrong way.
No way.
He's going about it in a very evil way, but is it for the good of the people in his country, for protecting what he cares about? And he kind of, for a moment, makes us question that. But then, ultimately he proves who he really is, what kind of man he really is.
I mean, that's where it gets gray, right? He's like who he truly is. He has to do that thing in order to do what he wants to do. But I knew there was no way he was telling the truth about being great, being held to his word. I knew 100%. There's no way. There's no way.
Well, how we find out is
it's just like, then the story's over.
Yeah. Well, how we find out is that Johnny does achieve, finally, his infinite rotation, and is able to send Valentine, because Valentine is, again, in the Golden Curtain, activating his stand ability. He is able to activate this infinite rotation that allows Tusk to achieve its final form, which looked crazy, and every form of Tusk looked really badass. You didn't like it?
No. Sorry. I feel like we definitely are skipping around.
Why? What else happened?
No, it's just in the order of operations.
Well, correct me. Keep me on track.
Infinite rotation starts in the puppies and all that, and all of the shoved up his ass, and then that's Gyro.
Okay.
Comes near, but it's fine.
Yeah, but that's fine.
We're just getting through it.
Tusk achieves his final form, which I thought was so fucking cool. And Valentine thinks he can dip in and out of dimensions. He thinks he can kind of exist within, between these sections of the curtain, and he's like dipping in and out. But what he doesn't realize is that infinite rotation can pierce through his stand ability because of its gravitational force, which blew my mind. Mind melted, mind exploded, and he's able to land a blow. Johnny is able to land a blow on Funny Valentine, sending him to infinite dimensions and ultimately unraveling, meeting the same fate. He tries to escape. He tries to dip out. He tries to pass his stand on, but every time he does, he succumbs to the same fate, falling in that ditch over and over and over and over and over again.
Like, he starts stressing now.
And he's stressing. He's on the ropes. And Johnny's like, he's going to come back, dude. He's going to come back. He's going to come back. Watch. And Johnny was right. He comes back and he makes him that offer. I can bring a gyro back. I can do this. I can do that. I'm a good man. Trust me. You got to believe me. Johnny asks him. Then he pulls out a gun from their universe and says, take this gun then. And
show me who you really are.
Show me who you really are. Because if you have a gun on you from an alternate universe, then I know your true intentions and they will combine and you will out yourself. Funny.
Valentine.
Yes, he is ultimately found out. And yes, of course, he was going to not do any of the things he said he was going to do, even though he didn't kill Stephen Steele right away. Like he could have.
He could have. Yeah, he kept his word.
And, I kind of thought maybe he would keep his word. Maybe he would. But I didn't want Johnny to accept it. And Johnny, gave him the right test. And Funny Valentine failed that test. So ultimately, he is taken out and defeated. Funny's gone. Funny's out. Not so funny anymore.
Not so funny.
Not so funny. Everything seems like it's going to be wrapped up. Meanwhile, you got Lucy turning into a corpse, and then the further she gets dragged away, turning back into her regular self. But after all is said and done, Johnny tasks Stephen and Lucy with finding Gyro's corpse so he could take it back to his homeland, tell his father and his family everything that happened. and Johnny's going to take the corpse to. I think Steven told him about the safe house after it goes missing. But Johnny's going to take the corpse and he's going to deal with it. Meanwhile, he freaking blinks, turns around, and the corpse is gone.
Bro, I was like, after all that shit, are you fucking kidding me?
I was gagunked. I was like, what the fuck happened?
I know.
I thought it was over.
I know.
They don't know who it is. They recognize kind of the tracks that the horse left behind. Johnny goes after this mysterious person and finds out, lo and behold, it is another version of Diego Brando, more similar to the version of Dio that we know with the stand ability, the world, to stop time.
Oh, we get the whole knife trick again.
Love it every single time. I don't care what Mehgan says.
And then we get like Johnny blowing women up. He did
do that.
Yeah, he did.
Diego took his fangirls.
Yeah, Diego's
on
like,
his
you
horse.
did this, Johnny, and Johnny's like, I don't give up.
Yeah, Johnny's like, we have bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, for real. I was like, damn, like this is fucking nuts. And yeah, that fight was crazy. Dio versus Johnny the whole time. I was like, what?
That's when my inner fanboy came all the way out. I was so excited. Again, we've seen it before, but the knife thing. Because this story felt so different and it had very like subtle callbacks to previous parts through names and character lineages, but was completely different. Not just in like setting and universe, but in like how the story itself was like told. I just didn't expect anything like that. So when it happened, I was screaming. I was so fucking lit off my ass when this happened. And Johnny's having a tough time, and Johnny ends up actually, he gets the infinite rotation like put back on him.
Oh yeah, that was wild, and that was like the only way he could stop that. I mean, the only way that he could stop Johnny. I mean, that's what Funny Valentine told him to do.
Yes.
He was like, if you don't do that, there's no way you're gonna be able to stop him. And he's like, I got you, bitch.
So Diego ends up.
He's unraveling, like literally.
Yeah, Diego ends up getting away. Johnny, gets rescued by Steven. Lucy goes to. Cross paths with Diego. Johnny ends up having to use an infinite rotation on himself again to cancel out the one that was redirected towards him. And it looks like for a moment, Diego is going to succeed and get control of America and win. But Lucy steps in.
But yeah, there's that flashback of Lucy looking for something on the railroad tracks.
Yep.
And she grabbed his head.
Yep.
And she said, look what I got, bitch. And he opened it.
Such a fucking baller ass move.
Yeah, he was pissed. He was like, not happy. He was like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get away. And then ultimately just explodes.
And could the head also be kind of a callback to to Dio's head?
Yes.
From part 1?
Yes. That he put on another body.
This is genius, dude. This is fucking genius.
Please.
This is genius. I just put that together right now. Someone said, I got really excited. Yeah. I get really happy. This part makes me happy. Someone said that the way Araki writes is kind of like jazz, and I get it. And this shit is fucking genius, dude. Magnum opus, masterpiece, bro. I'll take down all the painting. I'll take down all of freaking. It's slipping. Oh, it's gone. It looks like I have. What does this look like?
Like a mullet.
What does this look like? I don't know. Anyway, I'll take down all the art pieces in the museum, and I'll just put copies of Steel Ball Run on all the pillars. Okay, walk people through. Ball Run. Yeah, let me fix my wig real quick. But I'm gonna switch to you while that happens. But yeah, the end, and you think Lucy was being kind of sus?
She really was. I don't know, the way she was, the way when Steele said like, oh well, everything's done now. The corpse belongs to no one, and no one should have hold of this power, and it's rightful places in the ground. And then she just kind of like looks at her hand, and maybe she was just like reflecting on the fact that she literally like.
Does that look okay? It looks so bad, dude. It looks so bad. I'm gonna take the wig off.
I could just help you.
No, it's okay. I'm gonna take the wig off.
Okay.
Keep going.
Yeah, she looks at her hand. Maybe she was reflecting on the fact that she had the corpse inside her body, or she was turning into the corpse and she almost died. But I don't know, the way that she, maybe I'm just looking into it, but she's like, yeah. Like that classic villain thing where they're like, yeah, right. I will do that. Like, you know what I mean?
That's interesting. I didn't get that vibe, but
I don't know if I'm just tripping.
Well, let us know in the comments down below if you got that vibe.
If I'm tweaking.
You probably are, honestly. But Lucy is able to defeat Diego to save America.
Mm-hmm.
Lucy made America great again.
She really did.
And the story ends with Johnny taking Gyro's body. And Johnny finishes the race and his fucking dad shows back up.
Bro, I fucking hated that shit.
Bro, I was like, why?
I fucking hated that shit. Yeah, he's like, oh, I like you now. I'm sorry I treated you like dog shit now that I see you could actually do something. Like, fuck you, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Now you can have the boots. Like, oh, really? You think I want the fucking boots now?
Oh, now I can have the boots?
Oh, thank you.
Now?
Thank you.
After I've collected the corpse parts of Jesus Christ and traveled from one end of the continent to the other on horseback, now I can fucking have the boots at the finish line? I can have the boots? Fuck you.
No, yeah, it was ultimate. I was like,
and he's like, that's my son.
Yeah, that's my son.
I would have said, I don't know who that fucking man is. But Johnny,
Yeah.
fucking Johnny, dude. Johnny's like touched. The look on his face, he's like, Dad, you came.
Oh, Dad, you're finally here.
Oh, like that better be a dad from another universe that didn't fucking beat your ass.
For real. And treat you like dog shit. And didn't come to your aid.
Bro,
you literally got shot and paralyzed.
Would have been perfect. And it still is. It still is. But that was one tiny thing that I was like, bro, leave that shit out. Yeah. Johnny doesn't need that. He's grown beyond that. He's grown past it. He's gotten through it.
Yeah, he can literally walk now.
Yeah.
Like, that shit was crazy.
That shit was crazy.
I was like,
yeah, the evolution of
I guess
Jonathan or Johnny Joestar. Yeah.
But yeah,
he went from obtaining a stand to being able to stand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. But he takes he takes Gyro's corpse back. Poco Loco wins. Yada yada yada. He takes the corpse to his homeland. And he gets in an argument, which is pretty funny, with the guys on the boat. We're like, you can't bring a dead body on the boat. He's like, I could do this, my friend. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Which I was like, okay, Johnny, you got me a little riled up right now too. I like that. You was being a man right there. I like that.
No, he had, he's gone through a lot.
I mean, he was standing up for his mans. He was like, yeah, I'm not gonna take this bullshit.
No, for real, I've been taking your bullshit the whole fucking race.
The whole fucking race.
I'm done. I'm not in the race anymore.
Race is over.
Yeah.
Disqualify me.
Yeah, you can't say shit anymore. Let me through.
And I think there was a Higashikita that was on the boat too, and he was like smiling at him. I thought that was really cool. But he takes the corpse back, and then we just get this final.
And this is where they are now.
Yeah, this narration of where they're at now, and that the Zeppeli family moved
to an unknown location.
The kid to an unknown location that the
kid died,
dying, but that he didn't get executed.
His fucking face, he's like
that kid looks so
smiling,
goofy, dude.
And he has a fucking that
hairstyle,
little mohawk, and he's just smiling. He's like, and now he's dead. I was like, oh my god. It was like the Tim Robinson sketch where they're like showing the baby memoriam.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, the old people memoriam. They're like died by wood chipper, where the babies are now. That's what it was like. Inside baseball.
But that's pretty much it. That's where
a lot happened.
This part ends. And as far as final thoughts go, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I mean, I think I pretty much summed it up in the beginning. As to my thoughts of why this was my favorite part.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe not. I don't know if it's my favorite. I really did enjoy it so much because, like I said, I feel like the characters, their motivations were also complex, and they just felt like people. And Johnny just felt like a guy, but in the best way, not in a stale way, but in just a relatable way. In a I don't know if that's weird, but it was very entertaining. I loved the setup. The first couple chapters were, I was hooked. I loved the beginning start of the story, and it just felt like it was moving the entire time. It was, beginning, middle, and end. The stand abilities, like you said, were just like so perfectly integrated and not forced in. They just felt so natural, and because they were paired with the stand user, so it just felt so much more like, as much as a stand ability could be natural, it just felt like that.
Yeah, like a natural extension of that person.
Exactly. And I
how
really,
a stand should feel.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. And yeah, overall, just so fun. Wild West JoJo. I mean, how could you get better than that? Like,
yeah,
and yeah, there's so much to talk about within this part. Like,
yeah, there's probably things that we forgot to mention. Things we didn't get a chance to talk about, but we would literally be going on for hours and hours and hours and hours. There's so much packed into this part, but all of it is absolutely incredible. And if for whatever reason, you like to watch these episodes and haven't read it, which, there might be one or two people out there who have done that or are doing that, then I really encourage you to read it and to experience it. It is a necessity. I think it is very, it's mandatory reading. I just thought it was absolutely incredible. Is there anything else you wanted to say?
No, that's pretty much it.
Because I have to say, for me, it is absolutely, without a doubt, 100,000% my favorite part of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'll reiterate just a couple of the things that I wrote down. A lot of it is what you said, so I won't spend much time on it. But yeah, the stands felt like an extension of their users, and it didn't feel like in every other part, while I loved Stardust Crusaders, while I loved even Diamonds Are Unbreakable and Golden Wind, the stand battles at times did feel like these little obstacles that they had to get through that kind of took them away from the story, took them away from their main objective. But this felt like it was all linear, like every stand battle, like they were standing in the way of their objective, not that it was taking them down a different, separate road. I really appreciated that as well. I mean, we've talked about the art, how absolutely incredible every single page and panel, the colored version, was absolutely a treat to get to experience. Johnny having the best arc and being the most fleshed out and well-written Joestar, being gray, being complex, being human, but having an arc. I love that so much. Gyro, all-star Joe Bro. We heard that.
I'm sorry.
A little throat gurgle. Gyro being all-star Joe Bro, being the absolute best. Probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite character in all of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Valentine as a villain, I thought was so strong. And Araki, I've talked about before, my personal experiences, sometimes I felt bogged down by him trying to depict certain concepts or get across certain concepts. But here, it felt like the concepts, he didn't sacrifice how out there, it's very hard for me to word in this moment.
Creative?
But how creative. Yeah, he didn't limit himself on the
creativity of the stands by like making them overly complicated.
That and the overall concepts of, yeah, I guess even with Valentine's ability too. Like he didn't sacrifice these like really interesting ideas, but he got them across in a way that was so much more fun and so much easier to digest. For sure.
In previous parts, the overall like the big bad, I would say, definitely in Golden Wind and also in Stone Ocean, it just got to the point where I was like, what is exactly happening here? It just felt
convoluted at times.
Yeah. And it was what I liked about part 6, where, I liked part 5 too, but it was like, it wasn't a Dio type. It wasn't a person that is like just like a vampire that's lived for a long time and wants to rule the world. It was just like this guy who wants to just like rule his country. Yeah. And that was funny. Valentine.
Yeah. That was good. No, that was good.
Thank you. Sorry. Oh, no. Continue. I was just adding that.
No. I appreciated it.
Thank you.
But yeah, all of it. I mean, I could go on forever. I loved, everything about this. My excitement for this part, my excitement for JoJo is on another level now because of this part. I mean, I was even, really nervous for this episode. I think we both were because we wanted to do it justice. We wanted to make sure that we got across how much we really enjoyed this. And hopefully it did.
Hopefully. There's
We had
just so much to talk
fun.
about. I feel like those it's the end, obviously. Like the first episode and the last episode are always going to be jam-packed. And I just felt like there was so much to talk about in this episode.
Yeah.
So hopefully it got across.
Yeah, hopefully we were able to get everything that we wanted to get across. But yeah, I can't say enough about this part. It's something that I want to experience again. It's something that I just like, I don't know. I'm just going to not stop talking about, not stop recommending.
Yeah.
And I want to use this cosplay. I want to go out and cosplay Gyro at cons and I don't know. I just feel like a bigger and a greater love for Araki and for all of JoJo, all of it after this. But yeah. Anyway, that is going to do it for our discussion on the end of Steel Ball Run. We did it!
Yay!
We have Jojolion to tackle next. We're almost done here, but before we go, there's one more thing we have to do, and that is to shout out our wonderful, amazing, and beautiful Patreon and YouTube members. We shout out all of our Patreon and YouTube members because without your support, we wouldn't be able to do the things that we do, as many things as we do. We wouldn't have the financial freedom to take the time to do all those things. This show is just as much our show as it is your show. You have made this show possible and allowed it to be and become what it is. And we are eternally grateful to all of you for that. But we do have a tier on our YouTube membership program and our Patreon called the V1P tier. It gets you all the same perks that all the other tiers do with one additional one. And that is that you get a custom shout out. Is custom the right word? You get a personal shout out during this portion of the episode. So without further ado, a special thank you to Tyler, the nerdy bassist, Roland V Dub, Black Sun Series, and Quattro for being V1P members on our YouTube membership program. And as far as our Patreon members go,
we got Miguel, Pierce O'Connor, Wombo, Jaquan Gold, Tyler Wallace, David Paulin, Manny, Paladin Berserker Jedi,
Shane, David Ramirez, Rexy Dorado, Rokuma, Dallas, Visagi, Goodman, Mr. Stealing Your Waifu, Loaf, Carmen, Cameron. I miss the Baka Boys, Austin, and Gotchi, Chattiest Thundercock. Thank you so much to our V1P or VIP members. Your support and all of our Patreon and YouTube member support means the absolute fucking world to us. If you would like to become a Patreon member, get a custom shout out, or get access to all of the perks that we offer, like early access to all of our videos, uncut, unedited, reactions, and exclusive content, then you can do that by becoming a Patreon member at patreon.com/volume1pod or by becoming a YouTube member by clicking join somewhere next to the subscribe button on this video. Again, all of it is available at our lowest tier, patreon.com/volume1pod, or click join somewhere next to the subscribe button to become a YouTube member. But if you're at a point and a place in your life where you are not financially able to support, please, we really don't want anybody to ever feel bad for not being able to financially support, because there are so many other ways to show your support that mean just as much to us that you could do for absolutely free that Mehgan will tell you all about now.
If you have don't have any corpse parts to spare.
Love it!
I don't know if I did that already, maybe. If you don't have any to spare, no worries at all. There's so many things you could do for absolutely free that help us out so much. You can like this video, share this video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't subscribed yet. And we also have social media. We have Instagram, Twitter, and a beautiful Discord community if you want to go join that, talk all about anime and manga there. And yeah, those are all things you can do for absolutely free that help us out so much, and they act as a free tip to us and our channel.
Any and all ways that you are able to show your support do mean the absolute world to us. So thank you again. Thank you, especially if you've stuck around all the way to the very end. View duration and all that helps so much. And we hardly ever ask this. Sometimes we do say it in our spiel, but I really would love, because I'm proud of this episode. I loved this part so much, and I want to spread that steel ball love all across the interwebs. So if you know somebody else that is a fan of JoJo, or you want to try to get into JoJo, then share this video with them. That would also mean a lot to us as well. But that is going to do it for the final installment of our Steel Ball Run coverage. But like I said, we still have part 8, Jojolion, to go. The only thing left to do now is to get out of here on our outro that is always the same and never changes, which today, Mehgan, is
Steel Ball Run, my favorite? Of course it is.
Of course I love this part. Shorten it a little bit. Or we could do what we do. I just burped. Sorry about that.
That was literally so funny.
So I just feel that comfortable with you guys. We could just say, like, on to Jojolion. I think we've done that in previous parts.
Sure, if you want to do that. Just get rid of Steel Ball Run that quickly, huh?
No, I mean, I will always hold it near and dear to my heart. I told you that. I said that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for any and all support. And until next time, on to Jojolion! I'm so excited for the next part, dude. I already read like the first page. But just the first page. Just the first page. Because I was so excited I had to see what it was all about. And I can't freaking wait.